Hi, this is Trey Passer. I'm back with some more Mr. Nightmare reactions. This one is called 3 True Lockdown Horror Stories, Volume 3. I always love Mr. Nightmare, so let's get my reaction to this. I'll be right back. Okay, let me put my headphones in. Okay, here we go right now. Go.
Attention, lockdown, lockdown. Lock the doors. Stay away from the windows.
Okay, story 1.
Back in 2016, my school went into a lockdown. I was in my senior year, and it was the last week of school.
Okay.
So everything was kind of chill and laid back at that point. My friend, who we all used to call Moose, was cutting class with me to smoke in my car in the senior parking lot.
Okay.
One of our friends, Mario, who was in the lunchroom, texted me to come chill with him, so Moose and I started walking back to the school. As we were about to enter through one of the discreet back doors of the school by the band and chorus rooms,
Naturally.
Mario texted me saying the school was going into lockdown, and he was right. As we entered through the still unlocked back door, we noticed the red lockdown lights flashing in the tiny band hallway. We walked through the empty hall.
Okay.
This was the quieter section of the school with less foot traffic since we were far from the regular classrooms.
Okay.
I was texting Mario asking him what was going on and if it was just a drill. Moose and I stood in the hallway waiting for an answer. My friend Mario texted back saying, "Dude, holy shit," and the 3 dots bubble, meaning he was typing, sat under his text for like 30 seconds. Then it went away. He didn't send a second text. I sent him 3 question marks. Moose and I didn't really know what to do. The main hallway lights were shut off, and all that lit up the halls were the backup lights and the red flashing lockdown lights.
Oh boy.
There were no teachers anywhere to tell us what to do, so we just chilled in the hallway. We tried opening the doors to the auditorium, but they had already been locked. Moose then tapped my shoulder and pointed down the hallway. All the way down, there was someone dressed in black fast approaching,
Oh boy.
like speed walking down the hall in our direction.
Oh boy.
At first it looked like a teacher, but as he got closer, we realized he was wearing some kind of white mask.
Uh-oh.
Moose and I started walking backwards instinctively
Jesus.
in response to what we now perceived to be a threat.
Jesus.
As he got even closer, we could confirm it was a mask on his face.
Jesus.
And it was this horrifying, disgusting mask of some pale, rotting-like face. I'd never seen anything so creepy at any Halloween stores or anything. The man was now too close for comfort,
Jesus.
and the way he was approaching us was obviously full of aggression. Moose and I turned and started running back towards the band room. We hoped the band teacher, Miss Bryant, would be in there to let us in. We got to the door, which was locked, and started pounding on it, but we didn't have time to wait. Moose and I split up to hide. I hid in one of the music department closets. I don't know where Moose went. I turned the light in the closet off and hid behind a big container. There was a big glass window in the door to the closet, and I could see into the hall thanks to the little light from the backup lights. I heard footsteps approaching from outside,
Oh boy.
so I ducked my head completely behind the container. I only looked up and peeked at the window after the footsteps had stopped for a while, and I assumed it was clear. But it was not.
Oh boy.
The footsteps stopped because the man in the mask was standing at the door, looking in through the glass.
Oh.
I ducked back down, hoping he didn't see me, and then the closet door creaked open. It sounded as though he was trying to fiddle for the light switch, couldn't find it, then gave up.
Oh.
I heard footsteps quickly walk away, matching his speed walking pace from just before. I took out my phone to text Moose to see if he was alright, and I saw I had a long text from Mario. He explained that a student was stabbed in the bathroom by some masked man with a blade.
Jesus.
Moose also texted me saying he's alright. He ran back outside to his car. I realized that was a good idea. I made sure the coast was clear and booked it for my car as well. I sat in my car in front of the school and watched as cop cars swarmed the place. At least 10 officers entered the building. Moose came to sit in my car with me, and we watched for over half an hour. The school was let out early, with police escorting the kids out, of course.
Yeah.
They never even found the masked man in the school.
Jesus.
He likely escaped through one of the back doors.
Ugh.
There were helicopters searching all day for the man. I'm pretty sure he was never found. I thank my lucky stars I didn't have a similar fate as that kid in the bathroom.
Exactly. Yeah, I could have been stabbed too. Story 2.
I went to a very poor high school in a bad neighborhood. Because of that, we regularly had fire drills and lockdown drills in the case of something happening. During a lockdown, the teacher would turn off the lights and we'd all hide in a corner of the classroom without saying anything. It was a cold day in the third quarter of the school year. The windows were all shut, obviously, but still, my teacher had to stop mid-sentence because we could all hear some kind of shouting outside.
Oh, Jesus.
Definitely some kind of commotion.
Oh, boy.
My teacher went to the window, looked outside, then opened one of the windows, but the yelling seemed to stop by the time he did. At the same time, the dean started speaking over the loudspeaker and said we were going into a lockdown. My teacher rushed to shut the door and turn off the lights, and we all did our thing, went to the corner of the room. Time seemed to move slow as we were all huddled in that corner. Screams started coming from the hallway.
Jesus.
Not the screams of students, but deranged, angry screams from a grown man.
Jesus.
Familiar to the screaming we briefly heard from outside. Someone dangerous was in the building, clearly. The school I went to didn't have security guards. It was too poor. So literally, in a case like this, we'd have to wait for police to arrive. The screams were then accompanied by bangs on a nearby door.
Jesus.
Another classroom. We could hear the screams of the kids in the room next to us.
Jesus.
The banging stopped. The screaming grew closer until it was right outside our door, and then bangs on our classroom door. A couple kids screamed and started to cry.
Jesus.
The sick man on the other side of the door banged and banged. He started hitting the glass with his elbow, I think,
Jesus.
as he screamed insane things that made no sense to us. Some of it being, "I'm sick of it," and "just stop already." The sickening sound of the small, thin glass window of the door shattering made the reality of the situation sink in even worse.
Jesus.
Of course, kids on either side of me were screaming and crying now.
Jesus.
Me, I was just sitting there in total shock. The man on the other side of the door stuck his arm into the room through the thin window opening and tried unlocking the door.
Should have fucked him up.
My teacher took that opportunity to grab a pair of scissors and literally stabbed the man's arm.
Good.
The man cried out in pain, banged on the door a few more times, even harder now, and started running down the halls, still crying in what was probably a mix of pain and anger. The lockdown was ended a few minutes after police arrived. There had to be at least 6 cop cars outside.
Jeez.
And yes, the crazy sicko man was arrested
Oh, okay.
and probably brought to a mental hospital. The man apparently wasn't armed, but he clearly came into the school with intentions of hurting people.
Exactly.
Kids, mind you.
Ugh. Jesus. Thank God for the teacher. Story 3.
I went to a school in California. We always had a lockdown drill once a month, but only one time ever was it not a drill. I was in the cafeteria during my lunch period when the teacher, who was in charge of watching the lunchroom, announced over the microphone for everyone to be quiet. He announced to us that the school was going into lockdown and ordered us to be quiet. I think he genuinely scared everyone by how serious and nervous he sounded, because everyone in the cafeteria looked genuinely shook and actually shut up. I looked around the disturbingly quiet cafeteria and could see everyone else was doing the same thing, taking nervous, curious glances at their friends and strangers at other tables. Then shit went down.
Whoa.
A gunshot echoed from across the school,
Jesus.
and that's when panic set in with everyone.
Jesus.
Some kids ran for the exit door. The teacher in charge of the cafeteria yelled at everyone to hide under the tables as he locked the cafeteria doors and shut off the lights.
Yeah, Jesus.
I was sitting under the table with my friends, heart racing, feeling sick, knowing my life could be in danger.
Jesus.
Every minute felt like an eternity, just waiting for someone on the intercom to say it's all clear. Then, across the cafeteria, there was a sudden outroar of screams from students, mostly girls, and the sound of tables and chairs being moved or falling over.
Jesus.
My friends and I looked out from under the table, and we saw a kid with a gun outside the locked door of the cafeteria. Then I remember hearing gunshots. He was shooting at the glass door.
Jesus.
The glass didn't shatter right away. I don't even know if it did at all. But the entire lunchroom cleared out through the 2 side exit doors to the outside.
Exactly.
Students of all ages either ran to their cars or off the school property and into the neighborhood streets.
Jesus.
I ran in the direction of the front of the school, also the direction of my house. I saw police cars already outside.
Yeah.
I think they had just arrived at that point.
Jeez.
But I didn't stick around to watch. I got home and told my parents.
Jeez.
And my dad turned on the news to see the shooting was already being talked about.
Jeez.
Miraculously, only one girl was wounded, and the police somehow apprehended him without killing him.
Okay.
I'm sorry for anyone else who has to go through something like this. Fearing for your life that much is not something anyone should have to go through.
Exactly. Jesus. Oh my God. Ooh, those are some scary stories. Let's go. Lockdown ones are the worst. Oh, okay. That last story. Ooh, that was because that was, your life was really could be in danger. That first one, with the two guys and the guy in the mask, like I said, he stabbed somebody, so that guy probably had a weapon. Although, like I said, it's two of them. They could have tucked them, but hey, sometimes everybody's not brave, so you got to run and do what you got to do. Okay, and then the second story, dude, thank God for that teacher. That dude broke the glass, and then he's gonna try to break into the room. Thank God the teacher acted and took that scissors and stabbed that guy, so to prevent him from hurting people inside. That was good. The teacher was smart and thinking. Yeah, exactly. Screw that. But that last story, that was rough because you hear gunshots. I don't blame him. I'm not sticking around. You see the guy firing a gun at the thing. Screw that. We're out of here. Exactly. And they did the right thing leaving. Thank God they caught the guy and the girl and got wounded. But that was scary. That last one, because you hear the gunshots. I can only imagine. Your heart. If you're there, your heart probably went through your chest. So, oh my God, this guy has a gun, and he's trying to get in. Okay, he's firing shots. Screw that. And not sticking around until he's shooting at the glass, and eventually he's gonna break it. So, fuck that. Screw that. He's gonna have to catch me with a bullet on the run. I don't blame those kids for leaving. Okay, screw that. That's just crazy. So those are 3 true lockdown horror stories. Those are pretty intense, especially that last one. That last one was super intense. But that second one was pretty good too, with the guy, ranting and raving and coming down the hallway and actually breaking the glass, trying to get into the room. Thank God the teacher acted fast. Ooh, and then the thing with the guy with the mask coming down the hallway, that could have been freaky. That could have been freak. That's freaky. That especially it's your friend, you don't know. You see some guy with a mask and he's coming at you. You don't know. Of course, obviously he has evil intentions, and thank God, nothing happened to those two guys. But so I think the last one was the scariest, of course, and then I would say the second one, just because the guy was he broke the glass and he was actually trying to get into the room, but thank God the teacher was there. And then the second story, at least they hid out from the guy in the mask and they didn't get stabbed, even though some other student got stabbed. So I guess it would be 3, 2, and 1, and turns to me in order of scariness. Anyway, let me know what you think of these 3 true lockdown horror stories from Mr. Nightmare. I'll leave a link to Mr. Nightmare's channel in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. He's a great guy. Sub to him. Great stories. Love the way he sets up the stories. Fantastic. Okay, and I'll leave, again, links to his channel in the description box. I have links to my social media in the description box. You can check that out as well. My Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I also have a link to my other channel, Paul Views and Opinions. Check that out as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.